Hi everyone, hola a todos, how are you? In this video, I want to talk about the a sound in Spanish because it's not the same as in English. So what I'm gonna do in this following video, not right now, I already recorded it. I'm gonna first show you the two main sounds, the two main a sounds in English, and how are they, what's their position and everything. Then I'm gonna show you the most usual a sound in Spanish, a sound in Spanish, and so you'll see the differences. So if you know how to do the a sound, the a sound in English, then you'll also be able to do the a sound in Spanish. It's just a little tweak. After that, I'll give you some exercises so you can practice moving your mouth from one sound to the other one so you get this awareness in your mouth to perform the sounds. And yeah, I'm gonna show you diagrams and everything so it's clear what's the difference between one and the other. So yeah, it's gonna be a different background, it's another video, but I hope you enjoy it, and yeah. Okay, so let's start by seeing both the English sounds and what they have in common and what's their difference. So we're going back to this chart. What this chart represents, really what it really represents, is the openness of the mouth and also the position of the tongue. So in vertical you have the closeness or openness of the mouth. Here up top you have represented the most closeness of the mouth. Let's say this position, close. And if you go down, you have the most openness of the mouth. Okay? So all the a sounds obviously fall on the openness part of the mouth, but they vary in the position of the tongue. So it's called the backness of the tongue, which means like how drawn back it is, but it could be called the forwardness, I guess. So it varies. Some a's are more like towards the front and some a's are more towards the back. Okay, so the two a's, or the most relevant a sounds that you have in English, are this one. This one is the one that you have in cat or hat or tap. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it perfectly, but yeah, that would be the one in hat, tap, cat. Okay. The other one that you have in English, it's this one. Which is the one that you have in father and part and bar. Okay. So if we look at the differences between this one and this one, what happens is that for the one in bar, your tongue is completely drawn back. So your mouth is fully open, or as open as it gets, and your tongue is drawn back. Ah. Also, it has another characteristic, this sound, which is that it's rounded, which means that your lips are going to be rounded. Ah, bar. Okay. At the other extreme, we have the a from cat, cat. This one, your mouth is a slightly bit close, a bit more closed, but not close. It's just like instead of, it'll be like this. Maybe. It's all relative again. But your tongue is going to be pushed forward. And when I say pushed forward, I don't mean the tip like out. I mean from the root of your tongue, pushed forward. Your lips won't be rounded, will be more spread, and it will be like cat. And now I'm going to show you the one in Spanish. And for that, I'm showing you another chart. So in this chart, you have more nuance to it. So this is the one in cat, hat, tap, and this is the one in bar, part, father. Okay, so the differences between this one and this one is that while this one is at the back, completely at the back, and your lips are rounded, bar. This one is at the very front and it's unrounded. Your lips are not rounded. So you need to push your tongue forward. Okay? Usually the that we show in Spanish is this one, which is fully opened or lowered and front, all the way to the front. Okay, so that's usually the one that we say that it's the one in Spanish, but really it's even more accurate to say that it's this one. This one is the one that it's actually the most common in Spanish. You'll find both though. In some regions you find the and in some regions you find the a. They're almost the same. It's just that this one, it's not as front. So the backness of your tongue is not as drawn, it's not as forward. It's not but it's like so it's central. It stays at the center. It's at the same position, front or backwise. It's at the same position than when you say the from umbrella or up. Not the up, but the when you say it's the same, but this one would be here, so it's closed. It's like closed made, the But then if you open your mouth, make sure that your tongue is far from the roof of your mouth. Then so it's here, right at the middle. Okay, so those are the differences. Doesn't matter if you use this one a bit more forward or a bit more central. As you can see, there's barely any difference, as long as you don't go all the way back and round your lips when you say part. And careful when you say words that are similar to English, like parte. A lot of people say parte with this because your brain is used to that. It's like muscle memory. When you're going to say parte, it sounds like parte because that's how you say it, part. So yeah, make sure that you're not going all the way back and you stay at the center or at the front, but not at the back, and not near open, not like but okay? Right, so the three main characteristics of this sound, the in Spanish, are: first one is that the height is open, or also called low. And open, it's called because your jaw is open. Low, it's called because your tongue is low. It's far from the roof of your mouth. So So instead of thinking of it as open, think of it as, or you can think of it as open, as in your jaw, but it's also helpful to think of it as low because your tongue is the farthest it can be from the roof of your mouth. So like, so play around and see how far your tongue can get from the roof of your mouth. Okay? So that's one characteristic. The second characteristic is regarding its backness, what I said before. So the vowel backness in this case, it's either mid, in the middle, or to the front. It's in between, kind of the front and the middle. So, and the middle. So, not in the middle. Okay, that's for the standard in general in Spanish, but you'll find some regions, some dialects where they use the one that is a bit more forward, the one that I showed you. like la madre. Like you can hear some of these accents. But in general, you'll hear the or you can hear a bit of both, depending on the person speaking. So, yeah. And the third characteristic is that it's unrounded. What does that mean? That means that your lips are not going to be rounded. Usually, your lips are defined by rounded and unrounded. Rounded would mean when you push the corners of your lips in, and unrounded would be when you either have neutral lips or a bit spread. But I like to also speak about not just unrounded if they're spread. Anyway, yeah, so it's unrounded, which means that your lips won't go like when you do when you say bar, which you like you kind of push your corners of your lip inward and make a round. With the in Spanish, it doesn't happen. It's the same as the ones in cat and tap and hat. Okay, so it's like this, not like this. Okay, so those are the three main characteristics of the a. So what I recommend is that you practice with these movements until you find it. This is something you need to find. So what can you do to learn how to do the sounds or to be able to move from one sound to the other one? So the way you do it, the best way you can do it, to create an awareness of what your mouth can do, what I recommend you do is you practice doing the three sounds, or you practice moving your tongue back and forward. So you open and you do all the possible sounds. You open your jaw and then you draw your tongue forward and backward. So you go like and you kind of draw it back all the way you can, as if you wanted to touch the root of your tongue with the back of your throat. And then you push it the other way around. I'm going to also show you this diagram, which is really visual in the way, so you can see the differences between the in Spanish and the in bar. So as you can see, this represents the tongue, and the tongue is kind of touching the back of your throat. So it's like so your tongue, it's like zoop, back. And in this case, your tongue is drawn forward. So what I recommend is that you practice moving from the to the okay? So this is a really good exercise for you. Just move your tongue forward and back and see what different sounds you make. Okay? See you in the next video. Ciao.